All right, guys, today is Monday, February 14th. It's a special, I feel like it's some sort of special day, but I can't remember. Anyway, so what I want to talk about is today is the day we introduced our periodic table groups research assignment. And so what it is basically we are throughout the week, we're going to start to look at these groups of elements on the periodic table and why they're in these specific groupings. Um, and how do we connect that to a lot of it has to do with these valence electrons. And there's some other things that come into play, but that's really going to be a big piece. So now, if we think about it, we've kind of built, right? We understand the structure of an atom, we understand how to use the element cards, and then we looked at electron configuration, and we know how to determine how many valence electrons it has now. Okay. And then last week we did our lab, and we saw a trend with metals that the fewer valence electrons they had, the more reactive they tended to be. And the further down we went on the periodic table, the more reactive. So we're going to start to look at that now with all the elements, not just the metals. Okay. So what we're going to be doing is the first thing is you'll get one of these, which is just a blank periodic table that we're going to color coordinate and label. Okay. So we want it to basically match this. So the 10 major categories that we have are listed, backwards, right here. Okay. So we're going to color coordinate that, and we're going to be creating this resource that's going to go into our notes. Okay. And then we're going to do a little bit of research on these major groups. Okay. So if we look at our assignment here, what we're going to be doing is when we get done with this at the end, let's see if I can't get rid of the Pear Deck thing. At the end, you're going to turn in a picture basically that shows your colored periodic table, and then underneath all the research you did for the major groups that we're going to talk about. Okay. So that's what we're going to be submitting. So how do we do this? So first thing you need to do is create your color coordinated thing and label it. Okay. Then once you have that, for each one is you're going to create a section in your notebooks that has the title. Okay. And then you're going to talk about, or you're going to say which color it is on your periodic table. So if you colored it pink here, you're going to say, oh, alkali earths are pink on my periodic table, right? So you can look in your notes right there, because they're not always going to be the same on this thing. Okay. So then the next one you're going to do for all 10 groups is you're just going to search the properties. Okay, so we'll say, oh, they're very conductive metals, they're shiny, they're soft, they're very reactive, those type of things. We're just going to kind of start to make a list of some of their basic properties. Okay, then these two, there's really four major groups that we're going to kind of focus on a little bit more, and that is going to be our alkali metals, our alkaline earth metals. We're not going to focus too much on the transition metals. We're going to focus on our halogens, okay, and then our noble gases. So those are really going to be the major groups that we look at. So for each of those, and this is going to kind of preview what we're going to talk about in bonding, is we want to look at how many valence electrons do they have. It should be pretty easy now that we've seen these trends. But then this one, do they form ions? Okay, and if they do, is it a positive ion? Is it a positive one ion? That's where we want to make this connection. What do we see between valence electrons and the ions that they form? Now remember, with ions, that's caused by gaining or losing an electron. Okay, positive ions have lost an electron, meaning they have more protons than electrons. Negative ions have gained an electron, meaning now that they have more electrons than their protons, making them negative overall. Okay, so that's where we're kind of going this week. And as we go through this, we're going to watch a movie called Hunting the Elements, which talks about a lot of these things as well. Okay, so let me know if you have any questions. The big thing is, let's start getting this colored. Let's start in our group research. Use these questions or these guiding questions to kind of fill in that information in your notes, because at the end you should be able to take a nice picture that shows all this research and your colored periodic table. Okay, thanks.